So welcome, Mr. Lior, and thank you for your patience. You've been there for the last 5 to 10 minutes waiting for your turn. So I request you to, and I welcome you, and it's over to you, Lior, to share your journey with us and our audience.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Lior Sethon from Mobileye, and I'll try in the next 20 minutes to present you the Mobileye story in the field of ADAS and autonomous vehicles and data, how a small startup became a global player at those fields 20 years afterwards. I'll share my presentation. The Mobileye story. Mobileye today is an Intel company and working very closely with our colleagues at Intel in India. The company today has more than 2,700 employees globally. Started 1999 with 5 employees in a small villa in Jerusalem. We have today 11 offices worldwide. We are in 7 cities around the world and increasing, and our headquarters and the main R&D center is in Jerusalem, Israel. So the company, as I said, was established in 1999, founded by Professor Amnon Shashua and Mr. Ziv Aviram, with a target to solve a problem of car accidents, using computer vision and a chip in a vehicle, and assisting the driver how to drive more safely and more correctly. Back then, this idea was kind of a science fiction, and Professor Shashua was able to prove to the industry that a computer with a single camera vision is able to understand the landscape and the driving scene in a perception such as that really reduces accident significantly, and doing practically what the human brain and human eyes task or combination are doing. So in 2007, Mobileye, 8 years after starting this adventure, had the first customer. In 2012 already we sold 1 million chips to the industry, meaning 1 million vehicles were driving worldwide with our technology. In 2014, the company went to an IPO, which was the biggest ever in the Israeli economy back then, $5.3 billion. We have launched our new mapping technology in 2016, which is a crowdsourced mapping solution for AVs and for other purposes I will explain during the presentation. And we were acquired by 2017 by Intel for $15.3 billion, largest ever acquisition for an Israeli company, and that year contributed 4% of the Israeli GDP. So a big milestone, but Mobileye didn't stop there. In 2019, we have announced our data solution for smart cities and infrastructure needs. In 2020, Intel acquired Movit as a complementary technology to the Mobileye vision for mobility as a service solutions for driverless vehicles. In 2021, Mobileye is launching the supervision concept for hands-free ADAS. And in 2022, we will launch our mobility as a service first projects in Tel Aviv and Munich. So from 1999 to 2022, a generation, the company went through a lot, never stopped always was on the run, always came with new solutions, pioneering in all of the segments of the industry that we worked, and came with a very interesting business approach, which I'll try to explain during, again, the presentation. So today, those are our customers in the field of the OEMs. We work with over 28 car manufacturers worldwide, having over 80 million vehicles with our technology, and having many production plans with many of the OEMs moving forward. And our business strategy moving forward is based on three pillars. First is to continue to be the pioneers in ADAS and to come to the industry, to keep coming to the industry with new innovative approaches to improve safety and with usage of AI and vision sensing on a scalable path. Mobileye is continuing to doing that, and we are really the world leaders in that. Having an experience with safety and working with the automotive industry in the last 2 decades give us a very strong position when it comes to the AV and the mobility as a service revolution. Our mature approach when it comes to safety first and scalability of the technology give us a very strong position when we will start to deploy the first robotaxis in 22, and the next chapters and the next project that we're gonna have with the robotaxi. And the third pillar is the harnessing of AI to change how roads and cities are built, planned, and maintained by using our mapping technology, which are based on the ADAS know-how and our ability to understand the landscape of the roads and having kind of moving agents all over give us a real advantage and a real pioneering approach towards those industries. I think it's a very interesting chapter for Mobileye for the future, and I'll explain furthermore. So coming again to summarize this part of the presentation, we have over 80 million vehicles using our chip and our software. We work with over 28 car manufacturers worldwide, and there are over 300 different car models with the Mobileye technology inside them. We also able to retrofit our technology on every existing vehicle. We are able to take the most advanced technology that we sell to BMW, Volvo, and Audi, and others, and to deploy them on existing fleets. We do that globally, and we have retrofitted over 1.5 million vehicles worldwide. The impact of fleets, including, by the way, in India, is tremendous. We have many situations with fleet who came to us, installed the Mobileye system, and reduced their accident rate by 40, 50, 60%, sometimes even more than that. So our autonomous vehicle approach, here you can see, is mainly based on vision sensing. You can see here. So you can see here that our systems, our vision systems surrounding the vehicle, we have 13 vision sensors surrounding the vehicles, and there are the the main or the primary system we're using for autonomous vehicles, and it comes from our capabilities, know-how, and experience from many years in the ADAS field. So when it comes to autonomous vehicles, we are using our philosophy is safety comes first. So for that, we need true redundancy. That's why we use two subsystems. One is the camera-only system, as you saw in the video in the previous slide, and another one is radar and lidar system. Those are two subsystems which are working parallelly and are not integrated into one system. So one system is watching the other. And on top of that, we are adding our AV maps powered by the REM technology, Road Experience Management, crowdsource, constantly refreshing our AV maps. This technology is very unique. It requires limited bandwidth of information, and the AV maps are critical for the autonomous vehicle to be there and to add additional layer of data and information to the autonomous vehicle ability to drive everywhere. On top of that, we came with our driving policy algorithms, which we call our RSS, Responsibility Sensitive Safety approach. By the way, it's an approach that we offer to the industry. It's approach which digitize the human negotiation skills on the road. This approach makes it open, transparent toward the public and the regulators. It's flexible. It can be dependent on culture of driving, and the mathematical models are based on 5 rules of common sense of driving. Here you see we are providing solutions to different type of vehicles. So what you see in the pictures, all those are project we are driving. So it can be fitted on AV sedan like the Ford Fusion vehicle, or a SUV, the car in the middle, or a shuttle. Those are type of project that we are working. This is the list of autonomous projects that we are working on. I mentioned Tel Aviv and Munich. Those are the most advanced one in deployment terms, but there are many others coming. You can see in the list in Shanghai, in Tokyo, in Paris, and Dubai, and other areas. I talked about the REM technology, our ability to collect data and to create on the fly constantly AV maps. So we have today agreement with 6 major OEMs that are sending us data. By 24, we will have around 1 billion kilometers of roads covered on daily basis. We also have this ability with our retrofit solution, the Mobileye 8, which can be deployed on every type of vehicle, and we usually sell them or deploy them on logistic and public transportation fleets, which are covering a lot of kilometers of driving on daily basis. So the combination of all these data sources is very powerful and help us to come with a strategy of AV everywhere. The way we do that, this is behind the scene of the technology. We can understand road users, the RU, the road geometry, the RG, the road semantics, the RS, and the road boundaries from our vision sensor. And we are tagging the relevant information for the existing position of the vehicle on a constant basis. So it means we detect pedestrians, sidewalks, lanes, traffic sign, traffic light, vehicle, and everything which are relevant for driving. And this data is being collected and being sent to the cloud. And from that, we create a road book, or using that for as data services to smart cities and road operators. So from this type of data, we can create few type of services to new industries. It's a new business or revenue stream to us. So we can provide road network survey, utility asset survey. We can detect manholes, drainage, and other type of useful information for city services. The pavement condition, potholes, cracks, and others. The mobility intelligence, because we understand who is a pedestrian, who is a cyclist. We can count them, we can position them, and we can position them compared to the vehicles. And we can provide a near real-time information about traffic flow and traffic obstruction, what we call the live traffic map, which is basically a breathing map of the city or of the road. And those maps, after you see our data, you can understand looks different in weekend compared to day to day, in the morning compared to the evenings. And we provide those services already today to customers worldwide. So this is a live demonstration exactly how it works. You see on this video, we collect the position in that sense of the landmarks and the poles. We can classify them on the vehicle before even it goes to the cloud, and that's on top of our detection of potential dangers for driving purposes. So this data comes from the Mobileye 8 system that I just talked about. And so the system is doing at the same time the two tasks: uploading the data and preventing accidents from happening by warning the driver and understanding the driving scene in a very accurate way, much higher than the industry standard. The data that we are collecting is being collected, aggregated, and from that we are creating GIS layers. And those GIS layers are easily integrated into maps, into control rooms, into GIS platforms, and in a very easy integration. All our processes are automatic and are based on crowdsourced data. We have a full methodology how we decide on the position of an object, how many times we need to see it to decide for it. And we are doing that from one system that you have it all in a very elegant way, I would say. Just a few examples. Here we created a road network survey map in Germany. So we can identify the dangerous intersection, the missing traffic signs, and tilted poles. And this is a map we are providing to this customer in Germany. This is another customer in Rome, Italy, that we are providing for him the potholes map of Rome. Remember, we are constantly monitoring the landscape and the road by customers which are using our system for safety purposes. We do not survey the roads, we are constantly monitoring them, and this is a very unique way of collection of data and processing data. Another usage that we have here, it's an example in Barcelona by the Ministry of the Transportation of Spanish government. We are creating a roads risk score by aggregation of all the information that we are able to collect, including driving habits of drivers and driving behavior and their intersection with the road and roads. And taking this under consideration, we are aggregating this data and creating a kind of an insightable mobility intelligence map, which are very useful for them for planning and repairing the problematic area where they almost have accidents on daily, weekly, monthly basis. And this is another unique type of service that we are doing. So last thing, we are now working on our ability to detect and to monitor cracks before they become potholes. It's an ability that we are working on it very hard. It's very difficult to do that because and to train the system to know that. But we are doing that and we are moving forward. And we are confident that a few months from now we will be able to come with a very good product to the market and a unique one, a predictive maintenance product for road operators and construction plans for cities and road operators. And soon we're going to do that in India and some of the areas. This is how it works. You see, this is from our testing. We are actually able to detect those cracks, and soon we'll be able to classify how problematic those cracks are before they become a pothole. And a pothole, everybody in the business understand it's a very big cause for damage and accidents, and it's another if you like, another way that we are adding safety layers to the world, to the public, to our customers. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I'll be happy to answer all questions afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you,
Hello,
Lior.
everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Lior Sethon from Mobileye, and I'll try in the next 20 minutes.
Thank you, Lior, for that very comprehensive overview of Mobileye. We do have a couple of questions for you. The first question is more technical related. I think you mentioned that some of the data that you're using to make some of the ADAS system work is crowdsourced. So the question was, how reliable is this data which you're using to build your products on? Is there any problem there from a data perspective that you're using? It's from the audience.
Can you repeat the question, please? I missed the last part of it.
During your presentation at one point, you mentioned that some of the data is crowdsourced.
Yeah.
So how reliable is that information for your product?
It's very reliable. We're doing that globally, a lot of experience. By the way, all the data is anonymized, and we usually use the data for this type of purposes from logistic fleets or transportation fleets. So the data is very reliable, but we are dealing with new technologies. We're improving that all the time. And both processing within the vehicle and in the cloud, we get better results. I can tell you that already today there are cities and road operators in Europe, in Japan, in Australia, in the US, in Israel that are relying their operations on this data.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have one more question. This is more, I think, from a Mobileye story related. The question from the audience is, what is the turning point? At which point did Mobileye become more attractive to larger organizations? Because you obviously have a unique solution that you're building on. What is it for a startup? What is some of the lessons learned that you would like to share? At which point did Mobileye become extremely attractive before it got acquired or whatever, as it grew as a company with your product when you're working on ADAS? The question is, So what is the magic sauce, if you can share?
Good question. It is a secret sauce, but I would say that I think what is very much characterized the Mobileye's success story is that along the way we did the cutting edge technology, and when we started, it was science fiction what we are doing. Okay, we needed to educate the market in many ways, including regulators. We have done also the company, people who ran the company back then at the beginning, created a business strategy that went alongside with the technology. So if you want, if I had a small startup now planning my first steps towards whatever industry, the business strategy and to be realistic in one end and visionary in the other end, and to create the balance in between is critical. It's not enough to have a cutting edge technology, a super cool technology, and it's not enough to have a very good business strategy if you cannot deliver the technology. So it's to find the right position you want to be, to target the right market, to make sure that what you do, there is a good possibility for scale, and to do things which are difficult to others, not the obvious. There are many companies, many startups that there are trends, right? In the startup thing, you see suddenly many startups are doing approximately the same task, and then few months or 1 or 2 years, either the trend is changing. You see different type of startups. When Mobileye started its business, I think it was the only company who claimed that will do what eventually Mobileye has done. So in that sense, I would say those are the main lessons I would adopt from it.
Thank you, Leo. Because it is in line with what the first speaker of today, Raghib Hussain, mentioned. Trying to do something which is actually disruptive, like you said, doing something that no one else did, or something that people find difficult to do. On the other hand, finding the fine balance between pushing technology for technology's sake and balancing, business needs and what scalability and other aspects need to be considered to make that secret sauce, if you want to call it that. I think Mobileye has exhibited that very well as in terms of the outcome itself. There is a second question. This is, I guess, more from someone in India. So, very interested in your pavement conditions monitoring system. So, yeah, I'm sure it will be very useful in a country like India. And you mentioned that you're doing some trials here. Can you just throw some more light on that particular product?
Pavement condition.
Yeah, we are about to do a few projects in India. We are testing the quality of the efficiency of the technology on Indian roads. We already doing that in certain type of road in certain areas of the world. You will be surprised when you go into this business how much the tools that are being used all over the world are old and inefficient. And I'm confident that with immediately, but for sure afterwards, after getting some experience in the Indian market, we will constantly improve and adopt the technology to work in India. India for us is an important market. We see a lot of value that we can bring to the Indian society with safety, reducing accidents. We can be a very good solution for that. We have an experience with that, as you saw in the presentation. And we can provide very useful data for the Indian decision-making makers at roads and cities and utilities and city services. we have a very very unique solution because we bring safety and data at the same time in the same at the same place, and we don't send anyone in purpose to collect data. People are doing what they do, driving from point A to point B, while they do their daily routine, and at the same time we collect the data, and I'm confident that we will be very strong in the coming years as Intel and Mobileye in India. In that
Thank you. We have one last question for you, and this question is around, yes, we understand India as a market that it offers an opportunity for companies like Mobileye. Can you tell us something about the collaboration between India and your company, or Israel and India, especially in the area of development and the engineers here in India who help Mobileye build its products?
Again, the communication is a little bit bad. I hope I understood your question, comment. I can tell you that first of all, we are an Intel company. Intel has a very significant footprint in India. We're working very closely. We're actually working as one team with Intel India to bring the Mobileye technology to Indian roads. And we are doing, during COVID, by the way, a very significant improvement with leadership from here, from Mobileye, and mainly Nivuti, the CEO of Intel India, and Kishore, our VP. It's not a secret. Israel and India has good relationship. I think for Israel as a small country with very good technology, India was always a target market in all spaces, if it's for military purposes or agriculture or biotech. And we can also learn a lot from the Indian market for how you think at scale. How do you provide unique solutions? This is important. Out input towards our plans and technology. We are very happy. It's challenging to succeed in India, but we have a good team. Both the Israeli team, very experienced in India. We have Mrs. Galit Hoffman, which spent in the last years in India as part of the Israeli delegation there. She works for us and working together with Intel India. It's hopefully it will be one of our flagship successes in the next years of Mobileye.
Thank you, Lior. On that high note, thank you very much for your time. And I'm sure that the key point that you shared, especially around finding the right balance between technology and business value, that is what actually spurs startups to actually deliver scale and be successful. I think that's a very important key takeaway. Additionally, I think very nice summary about Mobileye's products. We are also, I'm sure people are very keen, at least in India, to know, how else the Indian teams can collaborate and deliver more value in the ESDM space. Once again, thank you for your time. Galit, thank you very much for helping facilitate this, and also the Intel India team for having facilitated this wonderful talk from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.